first strange thing happened at 2:17 a.m. I remember the time because I checked it twice. Night security doesn't give you much to do. You sit, you watch. You wait for something to happen, and most nights nothing ever does. That's why companies pay people like me. Not because things happen, but because they might. I worked security at a corporate office complex on the edge of town. 5 buildings, 3 floors each. Glass walls, empty cubicles, long hallways that echoed when you walked through them. After 6 p.m., the place was dead. My shift ran from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. I sat in a small security room near the main entrance, watching a wall of monitors, cameras in hallways, stairwells, parking lots, loading docks, routine stuff. At 2:17 a.m., Camera 4 changed. Camera 4 covered the east hallway of Building B. A long, narrow corridor with gray carpet, white walls, and emergency exit signs every 50 feet. Nothing ever happened there. But on the monitor, the hallway lights flickered. That alone wasn't unusual. The building was old. Electrical problems happened all the time. What was unusual was what happened next. Someone walked through the frame. A man, average height, dark jacket, hands in his pockets, walking calmly down the hallway. I leaned forward in my chair. "No way," I muttered. I had done a full patrol less than an hour earlier. I'd personally locked every exterior door. Badge access logs showed no entries, no alarms, no motion sensors triggered. I rewound the footage. The man appeared again. Same walk, same pace. I checked the timestamp. Tomorrow, 2:17 a.m. I frowned and checked another camera. Camera 4's date was wrong. I assumed it was a glitch. Systems mess up all the time. I reset the monitor. The date corrected itself. I leaned back, relieved. Then Camera 7 changed. Camera 7 covered the parking garage. A car pulled in slowly, headlights off. I froze. There were no cars allowed overnight. Employees parked outside the gate. I zoomed in. The license plate was blurry, like the camera couldn't focus. I checked the timestamp. Tomorrow, 3:02 a.m. I swallowed. 2 cameras don't glitch the same way. I stood up and walked the building. Hallways empty, garage empty, doors locked. When I came back, the monitors were normal again. I told myself I was tired. At 3:10 a.m., my phone buzzed. A notification from the security system. Motion detected, camera 12. Camera 12 was the stairwell. I looked up. On the screen, the stairwell door slowly opened. Someone stood there, not moving, just standing between floors. I checked the timestamp. Tomorrow, 3:11 a.m. My mouth went dry. I watched as the figure lifted their head and looked directly at the camera. I shut the monitor off. I didn't know why. Instinct, maybe, like a kid closing their eyes during a scary movie. I waited, counted my breaths. Then I turned it back on. The stairwell was empty. Normal timestamp. I considered calling my supervisor, but what would I even say? "Hey, the cameras are showing the future." That's how you lose a job. I stayed until morning. Nothing else happened. But the next night, everything changed. At 12:45 a.m., camera 4 showed the same hallway again. Same man, same walk, same jacket. Timestamp tomorrow. I stared at him longer this time. Something felt wrong. Not dangerous, just off. Like watching someone who didn't know they were being watched. I let the footage play. The man stopped near the emergency exit, looked around, then knocked on a door. My heart jumped. That door was an empty office. No one had used it in years. The man knocked again, then waited. I felt cold. I knew what door that was, because tomorrow night, I planned to be on patrol in that hallway. I checked the date again. Tomorrow, same time. I rewound, zoomed in. The man's face was clearer now, and I realized something that made my chest tighten. It was me. Same build, same jacket, same way I stood. The screen went black. Not static, not a power cut, just black. I sat up so fast the chair scraped loudly against the floor. My heart was racing. I checked the time. 4:46 a.m. Exactly what I'd seen on the footage. Every monitor was dark except one. Camera 12. The stairwell. I stood there on the screen, not moving, not breathing, just standing between floors, head tilted slightly upward, eyes fixed on the lens. I was still sitting in the security room. I could see myself in two places at once. My hands started shaking. I reached for the radio to call for help, then stopped. Who would I even call? And what would I say? I'm watching myself stand somewhere I'm not. On the monitor, I moved. The version of me in the stairwell took one slow step forward. Then another. The camera feed followed smoothly, like it knew exactly where I was going. Toward the security room. I backed away from the desk, my pulse pounding in my ears. The hallway outside the room was empty. Quiet. Too quiet. On the screen, the stairwell door opened. I heard it in real life a second later, a soft metallic creak echoing down the corridor. I whispered no without realizing it. The camera angle changed. Camera 3, the hallway outside the security room. I was standing there now, just out of view of the door, close enough that I should have been visible through the small glass panel. But when I looked at the door, the hallway was empty. The handle began to turn, very slowly. My phone buzzed on the desk behind me. I didn't take my eyes off the door, but I knew what it would say. Live feed synchronized. The handle stopped turning. On the monitor, I leaned closer to the door, close enough that my face filled the frame. I was smiling. Not wide, not happy, just enough to be wrong. I stumbled backward, hit the wall, and slid down to the floor. I pressed my hands over my ears like that could block out what was happening. The lights flickered. Once, twice, then everything went back to normal. The monitors reset. Empty hallways. Normal timestamps. No movement. I stayed on the floor until my shift ended. I didn't file a report. I didn't tell anyone. I clocked out and never came back. I still avoid security cameras when I can. Still feel my chest tighten when I see a blinking red light in the corner of a ceiling. Sometimes late at night, my phone lights up for no reason. No notification. No sound. Just the screen waking itself. And for a split second, reflected in the black glass. I swear I see myself looking back, like I already know what's coming next. I try to forget about it. That's what everyone says they do after something they can't explain. You tell yourself it was stress, lack of sleep, imagination filling in gaps that don't really exist. I told myself the same thing. I avoided buildings with security cameras. I took a different route to work if I saw a parking garage with cameras at the entrance. I stopped looking at reflective surfaces for too long. Windows, dark TV screens, phone glass at night. For a while it worked. Months went by. Nothing strange happened. No flickering screens. No timestamps from tomorrow. No feeling of being watched. I started to believe that whatever loop I'd been caught in had finally broken. Then one night I was staying late at my new job. Not security, just an office role. Quiet building, a few people working overtime. I was the last one left on my floor. Around 2 a.m., I heard a soft clicking sound, rhythmic. I knew that sound. A camera adjusting its focus. I froze. Slowly, I turned toward the corner of the ceiling. A small dome camera sat there, its red indicator light glowing steadily. It hadn't been on earlier. I laughed under my breath, trying to shake the tension. Relax, I told myself. It's just a camera. As I reached for my bag, the light blinked once, then twice. My phone vibrated in my pocket. No sound. No notification. Just the screen lighting up. Against my better judgment, I pulled it out. The screen was black but not off. And reflected in it was me, standing behind myself, perfectly still, watching. I spun around. The office was empty. My heart hammered as I backed away, bumping into a desk. The overhead lights flickered softly, then steadied. My phone buzzed again. This time there was a message. No sender. Just text. You left before the recording finished. I felt cold all over. What do you want? I whispered. The reply came almost instantly. Completion. The camera light blinked again. I realized then what I'd been running from. The cameras never recorded the future. They recorded certainty, moments that couldn't be changed. Choices that had already been made. Every time I watched myself on those screens, I wasn't seeing what might happen. I was seeing what had to happen. I looked back at the camera. "If I stay," I said slowly, "does it stop?" The light stayed steady. No answer. I understood. It didn't want fear. It didn't want control. It wanted witnesses. People to stay long enough to be seen. I grabbed my bag and walked toward the exit without looking back. Behind me, I heard the faint sound of a door closing. Not slamming. Not locking. Just finishing its movement. I never went back to that office. Years have passed since then. I live carefully now, quietly. I keep my nights short and my rooms dim. I don't own any smart devices. No cameras. No screens left on in the dark. Most nights that's enough. But sometimes, very late, when everything is silent, I wake up for no reason at all. And I have this overwhelming feeling that somewhere, a camera just turned on, recording, waiting for me to look back.